thought that you knew it all.
This is Nyx for the Vampire Lounge, and we're here with Jeanine Acquart, and she played a lovely show here tonight for Jeanine. It's her band. And how are you tonight?
Fine, thank you for coming to the show. Appreciate it.
You originally hailed from Texas, and what are your memories of childhood, and what was it like growing up in that environment?
Oh, it was fun. I actually was raised Latin, is Catholic, and so first music influences were the Catholic Church and the singing. The best part was being able to go at 2:15 and practice the hymns, and so I loved doing that. And there was a lot of growing up Catholic, going to church, and so I being able to sing. And then my parents, I remember one time just singing in bed, and my mom saying, "You better go to sleep, stop singing," because I'd always be singing. That was pretty much, but it was a different, anything that's suburban, that's outside of New York, it's different than.
So what brought you back to New York?
Actually, I've been here 3 times. First time I came up here for a job, and I started the band originally, Paris By Nite, then moved back to Texas.
And how do you like it here?
Love it very much. I've always loved New York. This time around, this is my 3rd time back, and this time I'm back by myself, and at first I didn't do the band. Actually, this is my first gig tonight that I haven't done in 3 years, and I'm back as Jeanine, not as Paris By Nite.
And is it hard to adjust from Texas to here in New York?
Yeah, actually before it hadn't been. I'd lived in Manhattan, now I live in Brooklyn. It's a little bit rougher, and I don't know if it's because I'm older or what it is, but it's a little bit rougher. It's a longer walk to the subway stop, but it's totally worth it. I have lots of energy, and so it's totally worth it. I just hadn't been gigging. I've been recording, and I've still been writing and everything, but I hadn't been doing the music, and it's just there's no excuse because I'm in Brooklyn. Of course, Brooklyn has such a great music scene, but I haven't really availed myself of it. And of course, my first gig back was in Manhattan because I've always played in Manhattan.
Tell us about your music. Like, what's your inspiration for the songs?
Inspiration is just observations about life. Lately, it's been more observations of romantic things and my reaction to romantic things.
And what inspires you about it too, as well?
Just my reaction to things, how I might overreact to things. Not suddenly being out of a relationship and then having a first relationship and then just being so head over heels and just becoming spastic about it. That's pretty much it, but I've gotten some good songs about it, and I guess that's the reason why these people came into my life, just to get a great song out of them. Tonight I did some new music, and the comments that I got mostly were on the new songs, and I said, okay, that person came into my life for that song, that other person came for that song, so maybe that's...
Are there any special artists who influence your music so far?
Pretty much, unfortunately, I listen to the same thing. I listen to the band Ours, I listen to Concrete Blonde, Jeanette Napolitano, and that's it. Some country music, maybe some mariachi music when I'm back home in Texas, but otherwise that's pretty much it. Listen to the same thing. I just always am writing. I'm on the subway and I'm writing. I'm at work and I'm writing.
What's your current project? How's it going? Is it different from Paris By Nite?
Everything's always, because Paris By Nite was essentially me. Because of the Paris By Nite name was originated with myself and my old manager, I decided to just go ahead and drop it. That's why I'm Jeanine, formerly Paris By Nite. I decided because it was almost perhaps mutual, even though I came up with the name along with my manager. I thought, maybe it'd probably be best to drop the name, and just because I always fluctuated back between Jeanine and Paris By Nite, so now it's just Jeanine. But the music's always been the same because I've always been the sole songwriter for it, and it's just that I'm just finally coming out and doing the music again.
And you've been part of the underground scene for a long time, from what I understand. What are your thoughts about Mother, the club, and Bank and everything?
Actually, I played Mother one time. It was unfortunately my last show in New York before I moved back to Texas. It was great. It was great being interviewed by Asif that last cold winter day. Bank, I know that they just closed last week. I don't know how much of a goth scene there is left, and actually even live music in New York. And, I know of so many live places in Brooklyn, which I haven't even played, but there's still places in New York, I'm hoping to get to myself. Now that I'm just getting back into it, but
how do you feel about how the scene's been changing and everything?
And I'm not too aware of what's been changing. I do know that
you are aware.
The change that I am aware of is that we're losing live venues in New York.
How do you feel again about your band name changing? Like Paris By Nite were the songs, and you still play as Jeanine. Did you feel the name change to be very important?
I think perhaps I needed to do it to make. Sorry to interrupt. I think I probably needed to do it to make a break from Paris by Night, from all those 10, 12 years with the manager who was, in a way, the soul of Paris by Night. Even though I was the creative behind it, she did so much for the band and promoted the band so much, and I got everywhere where I was because of Anna Marie Lopez. But at the same time, now it needs to be Jeanine, because the music is Jeanine. And sometimes that's hard when it is just your music, and then you're working with musicians and they want to, you know, not be more than hired guns, but at the same time they need to understand it's your vision and such. And then it's sometimes hard being a woman because people don't see that, although that's less of a problem in New York than it is in Texas.
How is it in Texas being more of a woman?
Here's a great story.
In New York?
Here's a great story. Here's a great story. I went into, this is years ago and perhaps it's changed, so I shouldn't stereotype Texas. I went into a music store in Texas and I was looking at a pedal and for my guitar, and the guy comes up to me and he goes, "What kind does he want?" And I said, "Man, that's why I left Texas, because they assumed I was buying it for some guy and not for myself."
Any other thoughts you'd like to share with us?
No, it's just that in the past, when I was before talking with Mother, my music has been, and I went on a Midsummer Night's Scream tour, which is a goth tour, and the music is, you know, somewhat goth, and then there's a Christian influence, and at the same time, right now it's just pretty much straight ahead rock, and then when I do my acoustic act, it's just seen as acoustic music, but it's always been pretty much a dark rock. And
how dark of a rock?
Not too dark, although in Texas one time I sang Black Darker, they shut me down because they thought it was too depressing, but I don't think that was a problem at all.
How do you think they feel about goth music?
I think a lot of people have a stereotype of goth music, and they think that perhaps that its time is gone and that it's over. Yeah, in Texas, and maybe, I don't know if here, but you don't hear so much about goth music. But I love the dark influence like ours, and I still see the, you know, I don't know, I think it always comes from the early Catholic music influence, the minor chords. Got to have the minor chords. In fact, I should just name the group Minor Chord. That would be my favorite, because but right now it's just I am Jeanine. And you can check me out on MySpace page, Jeanine Acquart, JeanineAcquart.
So thank you, Jeanine Acquart.
Thank you so much. Hope to play.
And I'm Lady Nix here with the Vampire Lounge, and we interviewed Jeanine Acquart. It was a pleasure meeting you again.
Thank you so much.